Some dolls are made to be played with, but others are made to play with you. And once you've seen the cursed doll of Mexico, you'll never look at toys the same way again. Prologue. The whisper of a legend. There's a legend whispered in the villages along the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, a story that chills locals to the bone and keeps curious travelers at bay. It's about a doll, not just any doll, but one that is said to hold the soul of a restless child who drowned in the waters decades ago. They call it La Muñeca Maldita, the cursed doll. Some say she moves on her own. Some swear her eyes follow you as you pass. Others whisper that if you stare too long, you'll hear a girl's laughter behind you, though no child is there. And then, there are those who disappear altogether after trying to take her picture. When I first heard this story, I thought it was just another tourist gimmick, a ghost tale spun to spook foreigners. But then, I went to Mexico, and I saw the doll for myself, and my life hasn't been the same since. The journey to Xochimilco. I was in Mexico City for research, working on a series about haunted objects around the world. Naturally, Isla de las Muñecas, the island of the dolls, came up again and again. But one local, an old fisherman named Esteban, told me about one specific doll. "Forget the island," he warned in a raspy voice. "That's for tourists. The real doll is hidden, away from the boats, where even locals won't go. She's cursed. People who see her don't come back the same." Of course, that only made me want to go more. So late one evening, against every warning, Esteban agreed to take me by boat. The waters of Xochimilco were black mirrors, reflecting only the faint glow of the moon. The air was thick, heavy, alive with insects and the croak of distant frogs. The ride felt endless. Then Esteban slowed the boat and pointed toward a shadowed hut along the bank. "She's in there," he said, refusing to look at it. His hands trembled on the oars. "But listen to me, don't touch her. Don't talk to her. And for God's sake, don't stay past midnight." I laughed nervously. "She's just a doll." Esteban's eyes cut to me, furious. "She's not just a doll. She's waiting." The first glimpse. The hut was small, decrepit, half swallowed by vines. Its wooden beams creaked as though they hated the weight of time. Inside, the air was colder, unnaturally cold, as though the damp night outside hadn't seeped in. And there she was. The doll sat on a rotting chair in the middle of the room. Her dress was torn lace, yellowed with age. Her porcelain skin was cracked, and her left eye dangled loose. Yet the other eye gleamed with an uncanny sharpness, catching the lantern light like a predator's. But what unnerved me most was her mouth. It was stitched into a faint smile. Not painted, stitched. I raised my camera and snapped a photo. The moment the flash went off, I swore her head tilted just slightly. I blinked. She hadn't moved. Or had she? The child's voice. I set up my recorder on the floor. September 21st, 11:17 p.m. This is documentation of La Muñeca Maldita, the cursed doll of Xochimilco. As I spoke, the air grew heavier. My breath puffed in the cold. Then I heard it. A giggle, high-pitched, innocent, childlike. It came from behind me. I spun around, nothing but the shadows, clinging to the wooden walls. Another giggle. Louder. This time, from the corner of the hut. I pointed the lantern there. Empty. And then, faintly, a whisper right by my ear. "¿Quieres jugar conmigo? Do you want to play with me?" My stomach dropped. I turned back to the chair. The doll's head was facing me now. The disturbances. At 11:45 p.m., the disturbances began in full. My recorder clicked off on its own. The lantern flickered violently, casting grotesque shadows that seemed to crawl across the walls. The giggling turned into humming, a lullaby, off-key, yet hauntingly familiar. Then came the footsteps. Tiny ones, bare feet slapping against the damp wooden floor. I shouted, "Who's there? Show yourself!" Silence, until the doll fell forward from the chair without anyone touching her. She landed face down with a hollow crack. But when I moved the lantern closer, I saw something that froze my blood. Her stitched mouth was gone. The threads lay loose on the floor, and her porcelain lips were moving. Midnight. The clock on my phone blinked 12 a.m. The witching hour. The doll lifted her head. Her good eye rolled upward until only white showed. Her mouth opened wider and wider, cracking the porcelain until it split unnaturally down her jaw. And then she screamed. Not the squeak of a toy, not the shrill cry of breaking ceramic, but the scream of a child drowning, gurgling, thrashing, choking. Water began to seep across the hut floor, rising fast. It smelled of algae and rot. I stumbled back as icy liquid crawled up my ankles. Through the water, small pale hands reached up, dozens of them. Children's hands, grabbing, clawing, trying to pull me under. The doll stood. On her cracked legs, she stood. "Play with us," she whispered. Her voice was layered, hundreds of voices of dead children speaking in unison. Forever. The escape attempt, I bolted for the door, but it slammed shut before I could reach it. The room shook violently, as though the earth itself rejected me. The water was at my waist now, cold enough to numb my skin. Faces surfaced, children's faces, their eyes lifeless, mouths moving as they screamed beneath the water. I shoved, kicked, clawed at the door, splinters tearing my hands. Behind me, the doll laughed, a shrill, unnatural cackle that pierced through the wailing of the drowned. "Don't go," she said. "You're ours now." Something grabbed my leg. A hand, tiny, slimy, gripping with inhuman strength. Another caught my wrist, another my throat. I screamed until my lungs burned, and then silence. The water was gone. The room was dry. I was standing in the middle of the hut, gasping, shaking, drenched to the bone. And the doll was back in her chair, smiling. Outro. The horrible truth. I fled the hut that night, stumbling back to Esteban's boat. I never told him what I saw. His terrified eyes told me he already knew. But since then, my life has unraveled. At night, I hear the doll's lullaby, soft and mocking, in the corners of my room. My photographs of her, deleted again and again, always reappear on my phone. Sometimes her head is turned. Sometimes her mouth is wide open. And sometimes she's gone from the picture completely. Worst of all, when I stand near water, I hear them, the voices of the drowned children, crying, laughing, begging me to join them. I don't sleep anymore. I don't go near mirrors, because sometimes, in the reflection, I see her, the doll, her cracked smile stretching wider, her eye fixed on me, waiting. And when I blink, she's closer. So if you ever find yourself near Xochimilco and someone whispers about La Muñeca Maldita, turn away. Don't look for her. Don't take her picture. Don't play her game. Because once she notices you, you're already hers. Okay, friends, please subscribe, like, and comment. Please, if you have any horror experience, please send me your story. I will be happy to narrate your story. Share your horror stories with us. You can send story on my idglobalghoststories@gmail.com. Once more, please subscribe, comment, share, and like. Thanks, friends.